Okay, we're going to see how this works. So I have here some cameras and some new toys. So I thought I would talk about possibly my favorite new toys, which are these macro extension tubes. I think it's Fotodiox is the manufacturer, and they come in a variety like this. So I have two of them to increase the length, but they come with a 35, no, it's 28, 14, and 7. So you get a total of 49 inches of extension. 49 millimeters of extension. Wow. You can tie them together and make that significantly longer. But, this is hard looking through the camera. But you're probably asking yourself, why not just buy a macro lens? Well, one, this was $7. So if you already have a number of lenses, and I'm actually using this guy right here, the kit lens, I think it's the VR2, yeah, it's the 2 model, using this lens as a macro lens now, since surprisingly enough, it's got a larger reproduction ratio than a 70 to 200 2.8, which I found very surprising, being only an 18 to 55 lens. So, what's the point of the macro tube? So, here's my lovely D700. Every Nikon, and this applies to every camera that I'm aware of, including Canon, it might be a little different, has a little icon there, and we don't have one on that side. So it's just on this side. That is the sensor plane. So typically, when you mount a lens, you're mounting it in the mount based on a distance from here. So when you go to take a picture, there's a minimum focusing distance that goes from your subject to this, not to the front of the lens, but to this. So what we could do in theory is put our lens closer to the subject, and it would be larger on the sensor. Since we're not actually decreasing the minimum focusing distance, we're moving the lens closer and allowing it to project a larger image. However, this leads to issues because, hey, look at all this light. Look at all this light right here. It's not going to work. So what we can do is we can take these, these macro rings and set it up. It's going to be front heavy, so that now we've moved the lens away from the sensor plane, and we've essentially created a macro lens. It's a usable, albeit not as simple, macro lens. Are you going to get results that are, the same as like an $1,800 f200 or 200 millimeter f4 Nikon micro? No, you're not. You might get kind of close, but you're not going to get the same results, since it's not really designed to work like that. The other thing is you lose autofocus. So these being $7, they have no electrical contacts to transfer any of the data. So when you put these on, you're shooting in full manual mode, or you're going to have issues. And just like kind of bellows systems on older format cameras, you can add these and extend them. And then the cool thing about it is, okay, so this isn't going to work. It's not letting me focus. I'm getting too big of an image. I'm touching the object when I'm trying to focus on it. Oh, hey, look. I now have a 21, because we have the 7 and the 14 left on here. Mounted again, boom, same results. Well, the results will be different, but I mean, you'll have the same results of effectively increasing your magnification ratio of the lens. I've not done the math, but I know that this guy sits somewhere in like the 0.25 to 0.3 range, which was surprising, as some of the other lenses were only like 0.1 or 0.2. So, but these guys, so for 20 bucks, you can take your kit lens and get some pretty crazy shots. I can post some after this in the video, but and it works on all your cameras. But again, you lose metering, you lose autofocus. There's where we at? There's the notch right here for your focusing motor to put the little divot, but that's pretty standard on all of these guys. Where you at? Right there, your little notch, you know. And you can actually pull out some of the older lenses. This is a D, where that the notch is actually where the focus motor engages, since we don't have an internal focus motor in this guy. So, but that's a quick rundown on these. Surprisingly enough, too, the reading that I've done is you're not supposed to increase the extension by greater than the focal length. This one mounted on here actually works. I've tried it with the 20, and I've tried using the other rings and stopping and reducing it down, not stopping it down, reducing it down and using the 20. Cannot get very good results due to the wide angle. So I was originally using it with the 51.4 because this has a manual aperture ring. So even though you lose, I have the circular polarizer on there, but you can see the aperture stopping down, or yeah. So, but I used it with this guy because I can change the aperture and adjust that kind of depth of the image. One thing to note with that, this guy does have your little toggle here, so it screws in and out. So theoretically, you could unscrew this and it would leave it all the way stopped down. But using the G lenses, it actually bumps this guy and opens the aperture all the way. So you can't see it because I got a lens cap on, but it bumps this guy and opens the aperture all the way. If you take that out, it'll leave it shut down or stop down. So, but that's a quick rundown. Probably the best 20 bucks spent on camera gear to dive into, you know, macro shots. So I really want to give these a shot with a macro lens to see what it does there, but I will wait to get around to that at some other point. So hope you enjoyed this. I'll probably post some more stuff now that I have a little tripod here to set up and you know, play around at the desk. So thanks.